Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
They come to relax, enjoy the beach, have fun, and spend money. And that's where we come in. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. Find out tips on the best ways to market and operate a water sports business. If you're a water sports operator, you need to grow your brand, operate more safely, upgrade your operations, and of course, increase bookings. We're industry veterans, broadcasting from Destin, Florida. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast, and this is Kevin O'Neill and Greg Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 31 of the Awkward Watersports Guy podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the water sport gold rush, and I know Kevin barely made it this morning with us. He is a little under the weather, but I'm going to have him do his best impression of an old prospector in the 1840s.
First of all, I just want to make it clear here. Greg forced me to come on and do this show. He was like, I could probably just get a fill in. I'm like, ain't nobody taking my seat, motherfucker. I'll come in, you'll wheel me into this motherfucker half dead before somebody fucking takes my show and fucks it up, bro. Only one sheriff, and these here pills looking for gold. You fucking trained monkey. A fucking prospector.
Well, this has been a very interesting past couple weeks. I know just from, TripShocks, and we are seeing numbers that we typically see like in peak summer. So, and it's every day. It's been like this for the past 3 weeks. There's some pent up demand going on. There is just the fact that people want to be outdoors. People have lots of money because of stimulus. Kids are not in school, or some kids are not in school. They're doing virtual school, so the parents have freedom to travel. I mean, there's probably 6 things. But Kevin, what do you think?
I want it to stop, man. Please give us a break. My God, I don't want any more money, man. It is unrelenting, man. And it's so many people that have never done this sort of stuff before, I think, too, because of COVID and outdoor recreation. And there's so many new boaters to that I just have no idea. Typically we have here, we have some kind of, especially when you're renting a boat or driving a jet ski, you have a balance of new people versus experience, or at least limited experience. Man, it is the gates of greenhorn rookie fucking hell have opened up, dude. It's all these people that's we want to drive a boat. And I'm just oh my God, dude, please chill out, man. So we've got a ton of new people in the area. I mean, they're doing good. We gotta work with them. We gotta spend a little extra time with them to make sure that they know what they're doing and that they're safe and all that good stuff. But I mean, right now the phones are just ringing and emails. I mean, walk-ups. I've never seen anything like it, man.
And I think it's going to slow down after this week a little bit, but I think for the rest of the year, I don't think it's going to slow down like we have seen in recent years. And I also think the summer is going to be probably double what it was last year, potentially, because now people have vaccines. They're not as afraid. There's a pent up demand, and it's going to be balls to the wall. So I don't think this is just a Florida issue. I think this is all across the country, and even internationally in some areas, places that are more locked down, maybe not. But I think overall, water sports, being in outdoors, is going to be the place where people want to be, or destinations that offer water sports or outdoor activities. So today I think we want to talk about more of what do you do in a increased market like this? What are some of the things that you need to look at within your business to prepare yourself, make sure you're getting the most out of this, because this might be a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of businesses to see it this busy. And there's a potential of making 50 to 100% more this year if you do things right.
Right. But that's a loaded question though, man. Do you start then like, man, if you can, which you probably can't because of supply chain, but like, what do you go and buy like a ton more equipment, get ready for like the year after year after year. Oh man, we're going to buy 10, 20 more boats and 20 more jet skis and let's go crazy. Do you do that? Is that a smart play?
No, actually not at all. I'm looking more inwards than I am outwards, meaning pricing, add-ons, efficiency, things like that.
Well, we knew that. If you haven't been listening to this show and done what we told you, because we've been telling you that this was coming. So if you listen to AWG at all, we have had our amazing Kreskin hats on and been calling this shit for a long time.
Yeah. So I guess this episode is going to go more in depth of what you might want to be thinking about when you have a increased in demand or a demand that is basically unseen. And most, like I'm talking to some people, they've been doing it for 20, 25 years, have never seen it this busy. We're going to start with pricing. And we had a great pricing episode. I highly encourage you to go back to the pricing episode and listen to it because it goes very in depth. We're going to specifically talk about pricing in a market like this. The first thing that I want to recommend is watching your prices every day. If you want to make a lot of money this year, watch your prices every day. And a good example, we have an operator on TripShock that I help a lot with their pricing. And we are literally changing pricing every 2 days, increasing it as we see it. Now, it'd be great if there was a dynamic tool that automatically did this. There's not one in the market, not with this specific partner, but those are the things that you're going to have to do is watch your pricing as you're filling up. If you're filling up 3 to 4 days in advance, then you are priced wrong. I just think that if you spend maybe a couple evenings a week just looking at your bookings, looking at your advanced bookings, adjusting the pricings accordingly. I think a lot of destinations are underpriced already. Like I believe like in Destin, Florida, for example, parasailing historically is around $50, $55 during spring. And I'm actually seeing $70, $75, $80 for the first time ever. And that's a lot has to do with operators are basically looking at the demand and they're making adjustments as they go.
Do you think that's difficult though? I mean, I don't know like what other res tech solutions that you have with like Wave Res or Check Front or one of these guys, but I mean I prepared for this and I was still underprepared. Like I thought I had all the boxes ticked off on how much we were going to make, availability to OTAs, everything like that, and it just was like the blew up through. Like I feel like I could just raise prices across the board, especially on the weekends. I wasn't anticipating this. I mean, I had prices raised for the weekends and I think I talked to a couple operators that did not raise their prices for Easter weekend. I did. And I mean, we, like you said, those 2 days it took down to the last 24 to 36 hours before we were sold out. But I didn't anticipate it to move through into the week like it did. My analytics wasn't showing me that when I looked at our traffic. There was a dip after the Easter weekend. And, I went back to my standard already raised off-season price.
Yeah. I noticed that I just look because I can see data from multiple operators. I did notice that after Easter weekend, pretty busy. Now, Monday, Tuesdays, historically, no matter what destination you're at, they always drop off after Sunday. So Monday and Tuesday are a little slow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday picks up.
I mean, Tuesday for me was the busiest day in March ever. Like it was the busiest day in like June ever. Like today and yesterday were like nothing I've ever seen, man.
Yeah. This week was a little of an anomaly, at least in our area, because the weather they're predicting weather for end of the week. So I think earlier this week, people moved their plans up.
Right.
I've noticed that. But historically, Mondays and Tuesdays, it drops off and then it starts picking up Wednesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays are pretty slammed. And then obviously weekends are busy. But you're right, Kevin. I mean, it is hard when things are moving so fast to change pricing, but that's why when we're in these
real quick, I'm sorry, I want to touch back on that a little quick because in Fair Harbor for us, I mean, again, like I don't know how it is for other industries, but you have to create those product types. You have to create those product types at those prices. It's not just like an arbitrary number that you can just raise prices on the back end of Far Harbor for like a certain day. You have to create that product type for that price point, for that product, for that day, or any day, it doesn't matter. So let's just call it pontoon 1, even though that might be your pontoon and you're selling it for $100. Well, you have to create pontoon 1 and then put that, and then make that a product available for like Tuesday and Wednesday. So you gotta really get in the weeds on the back end. And unless you understand how Fair Harbor works or Peak Pro, whatever it is you use, and you're sort of depending on them to get that right, I mean, you could be in for a world of hurt because they will fuck that up if they don't understand exactly what you're trying to do.
Okay. I understand.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So this is not necessarily get in there. And I know like with WaveRes, all you got to go in there and just change the price and it's done. But
WaveRes pitch.
WaveRes pitch. I have to say it, but
nice try.
But I know what you're talking about, and there is a lot of Fair Harbor listeners that you do have to create those ticket types and tie them. Yeah, you told me this actually in a previous episode, that it's not just like boom, put it in play. At the end of the day, if you have to do that, if that's going to make you an extra $5,000, $10,000 a week, then maybe it's worth putting the time or calling Fair Harbor. And if anyone in Fair Harbor is listening, maybe provide us an update or an idea of what we can do to change pricing on the fly, because in this market, I think that's a pretty important.
Well, yeah, because basically we're then like trying to create a dynamic pricing model manually, and then doing it on the fly is like, I mean, it's quite a bit. I mean, I don't know. We've looked into it. I mean, we definitely, we talked last night about just our problems with like OTAs and stuff like that, and having. I mean, I use TripAdvisor and I fucking hate them. I really do. But it's just I would have blacked them out. I was not ready for this. Like I would have never had them, allowed them access to anything right now. But raising your prices with your OTAs too. That's the thing. Yeah. If your OTAs are like gobbling up, if you got big OTAs out there that are just gobbling up your seats because there's such a massive demand, you're like, oh shit, now that's a pretty easy fix. You can just go in there and raise those prices to the moon. Because if they're spending all this money on AdWords and whatever it is, they're spending money on advertising, and they're doing it for a reason. They know the traffic's there. So, I get my 22% back out of them, which we're in the process of doing right now too. And
you're the only pontoon boat rental, I believe, on TripAdvisor in the area. Is that right?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I know I'm number one. I know I'm number one in my market. I mean, I know that, but I don't know what anybody else is there right now.
Yeah, Kevin makes a good point. I mean, just speaking from an OTA, there's a lot of times where I would like to be priced higher than our partners because I know the real value of what they're selling, or they just don't have the ability to change it easily. But how our integrations work with, like, for example, Fair Harbor, we can't do that. And I'm fine with that. Like, I don't even want the ability to charge more because I want to be in parity. I don't want customers to come and feel like they overpaid or, they're questioning the integrity of our service. But at the same time, I'm also here to let operators know, especially if I know them, that there's opportunity to raise the prices on both ends and make a little bit more money. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Staff. That's the biggest challenge for all of us right now. It's not even the money, man. It's having people there to take care of your stuff, man. This is a real problem right now, man. This is like bubble bursting type shit, man.
Like, what do we do when there's no staff? I mean, I know we all work harder, but what are some ideas that we can kind of take with us that I'm just kind of at a loss, but.
Well, yeah. In the group, you were like, and I don't think you got what I was saying. So, and you said, so in our group, we were talking about staff problems. And Greg's like, what if you offered a sign-on bonus? What I was saying was that to me, it's not the issue. Right from the get-go, there's someone that can't keep their word. If they say, hey, I'm going to meet you at 2:00 and we're not talking about bonus, we're not talking about pay nothing, and then they just don't show up, to me, that's an untrustworthy person. And I see what you're saying. Like, well, maybe if you incentivize them more to show up, but that's not the point. The point is that they agreed to something, and then and I tell them every time, hey, I got to come from 20 miles away. Just give me a heads up. Let me know. So to me, I see an inherent trust issue there. There's somebody already that I can't trust. So I don't want to incentivize somebody to keep their word.
Like, well, don't incentivize that person. I'm talking about to bring in new people. Because if everyone's offering $12, $13 an hour, but you're offering $13 an hour with the $250 sign-on bonus after 30 days, you might get more applicants. That's what I'm saying.
All right. I got you. I misunderstood that. I got you. More people, more trustworthy people that would show up regardless.
Yeah.
I got you.
Here's an idea. And I was talking to Jason and Maya from Extreme H2O and Destin. What is it for a lot of companies to look for people from working from home? Because I know some of the issues with people is, they can't actually work at a location, whether it be they got kids they got to pick up from school, they're stay-at-home mom, maybe someone's pregnant and they're just looking for something seasonal, or there's a teacher that's looking for something quick in the summer and they don't want to, actually work at a doctor. So there's those folks that are looking for work. And I know phones is probably I hear this a lot, that we're missing a lot of phone calls. We talked about this on, I think, the last episode, Kevin, hiring maybe someone virtual just to answer phones, to take off that side of things and make reservations. And answer questions. And then maybe even have a call attendant where press 1 to contact the harbor location or press 2 to make a reservation or vice versa. And that way, it's just one way to probably find people without, necessarily having to get them.
I'm sorry. This is just fucking preposterous to me, dude. Like I'm just, call me old, call me get off my lawn fuddy-duddy, but this is ridiculous. I am sorry, man. Like, well, what can we do to get somebody to get off their ass and come to work? You know what I mean? Like, because this is what we're competing with in the market, right? And I'm not trying to get political, but we're competing with $600 a week unemployment. That's what we're working with. So, gee whiz, how can I get you to fucking stay at home, not do anything, and draw a ridiculous salary for doing so? Like, I understand what you're saying. And yes, for check-in and phones, that's a possibility. But it is incredibly frustrating when you are preaching upward mobility to somebody, when you're trying to instill an ethos and something in your company culture that requires being a hustler and a go-getter, even if that's for an entry-level position. When I hire people for entry-level positions, I am hiring them to fucking be the next business owner. And I know that's ridiculous, but I at least want to see a spark of that. If somebody immediately texts me and goes, "What's the starting pay?" Fuck you. I won't even answer that question. I will not answer that question. What's the starting pay? Nothing, dude. You just asked a death nail question for me, because it's not about what I can do for you. It's about what we can do for each other. What are you bringing to the table? And I'm just
talking about how can we offer some relief to the staff? And honestly,
stop it. Bleeding heart fucking liberal motherfucker, man.
I'm just trying to increase the employment pool and offer, like, we have issues. Like, everyone's missing phone calls right now. If you can basically outsource your phone calls to some people working from home, that alleviates your booth staff or your harbor staff.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Upwork. I'm going to go to Fiverr. And you know what? If I'm going to get that, if that's what I'm going to get, then I'll get it from India for $7 an hour, or get a virtual assistant. I'm sorry, but if that's where we're at in society, and again, I don't mean to make this political, but it's very frustrating for me. It really is. I would rather outsource a call. I would rather outsource to India or wherever, have a virtual assistant answering these phone calls than pay somebody an ungodly sum that doesn't want to. I mean, I got a girl right now that works for me. That I already gave her a raise. She's gone above and beyond. She has those phones, completely trustworthy. I see her taking reservations. I say, you got the phone till 8:00, 7:56. Those reservations are coming in. And I feel like that's what's missing. And it's like, yes, if you can do that. And I tell her too, go home. If you 5:00 last boat's in, no more check-in, like, lock up the place, go home, take the phones with you. If you want an extra day a week working at home, absolutely, no problem. Mm-hmm. But if you want to move your organization upward and forward, you need a staff that's going to be dedicated. And I get what you're saying. Like, there's going to be some certain situations, moms, but that's a very small part of your company, answering phones and stuff like that. Realistically, what we're dealing with right now, if people being able to come in and be a part of your organization and be go-getters and see what they can bring to the table and grow with you. And we are missing that fundamentally in the workforce pool. It's a huge problem that you look in the group, everyone's talking about it. And not just our group, every group. No one can get anyone to come in and work right now. It's a real bad problem.
What I find interesting about the whole thing is mostly young kids work water sports. I mean, every now and then you're going to get someone that, is retired that's looking for part-time work, but it's the young kids. Where are all these 20-somethings?
They're getting these dope-ass federal unemployment and stimulus checks. I hate to say this, man, but I can't, other than doing like some empirical data analysis of the marketplace, I can only look with my eyes and see 1 + 1. And when I see like, hey, this is going to be the 14th round of stimulus checks, or, you're going to get federal unemployment for $600 a week, and then the magical number of $15 an hour. Anything below that, it's a wash. How much you paying me? All right, kid, I'm going to start you at $11 an hour plus tips, more than $15 an hour. No, because right now that's like the thing. Everybody wants that $15 an hour magic number. And there's a lot of water sport companies that cannot afford that can't just increase their labor cost by 50% overnight, because that's the soup du jour of, I'm sorry, it's a political thing to me. It's never been this bad.
I think we've talked about it before. I mean, the $15, I think, is short-sighted. I think some cities in the country, probably $15 an hour works because the standard of living is higher. Some rural areas in our country, where making $10, $11 an hour is considered good, cheap to live, they don't, these businesses are going to struggle. I mean, it's going to cost a lot more to live for everybody at those rates. But that's a whole other conversation to get into.
It's the biggest challenge right now that we're facing as an industry with the demand that we have. With the demand, like if I wanted to have 10 more boats and 10 more jet skis, I couldn't handle it.
Do you, do you think that there's technology that can automate some of the jobs that our team does? I mean, obviously getting people on and off the boats is one thing, but online reservation systems can take away some of the phone call. I mean, worst case scenario is if you didn't have a phone person or you had limited people answering phones, maybe you could change. I mean, first thing I might do is change my auto attendant greeting when people call to say, we are experiencing, lots of call volume, go on our website, check availability right there. Something along the lines to push people on their phones or on their computers to check availability, so it takes some of the pressure off answering all the calls.
Always. That's my message. Always. Thanks, calling Destiny Water Adventures. For existing reservations, please email us at info@destinywateradventures.com. To make a reservation, please visit www.destinywateradventures.com for availability. Like at the end of the day, every single question you have is on our website. Like marketing and sales is flipped. So marketing is the king.
Here's an interesting stat. 93% of people who select our auto attendant when they click for existing reservations, extension 2, I think it is, 93% of those folks have bookings already. So what that tells me is that we're not going to lose any business by making those people wait or telling them to go to live chat or telling them to go somewhere else. So if they have to wait a long time, then so be it. That's just the way things are. What I don't want to miss is the new reservation calls. If I can get as many of those as possible, that's great. And if I can't, then I have options to reach out to them either via like our remarketing emails and things like that. But I think looking at, okay, we're short staffed. What can we do to replace that staff? Maybe it's not perfect, but it can help in the interim until employment comes back. One thing I have a question for you, Kevin, is if you had a crystal ball, when do you think that things will somewhat normalize when it comes to just employees and things like that?
So, I mean, for every single market, I have no idea. I think for this market, I don't know, man. Never. I think the cat's out of the bag. I think any secondary markets, like away from big cities and, markets that have typically, like, so if you look at like Orlando and you look at Miami and Florida, you look at Tampa, and these are going to be the biggest markets. And then you have us up here, little Destin, Fort Walton Beach. I mean, I think that this market is going to rival those markets as people start introducing new business ideas, and as the population grows. I think forever there's going to be an embed in people's minds of big crowds, large lines, no bueno. So I don't think the outdoor and activities market's going to normalize for a long time. I think there's going to be a lot of peaks and valleys as things start to grow or change. And like, again, we're looking at, there's another surge in Michigan happening right now. Now, granted, if people aren't getting dying or whatever. But I don't know, man. I like in this, I said, I don't know if I talked about it on the show, but I was asking someone, I'm like, what do you think that our generation, you know, if when you look at like the Depression era grandparents, how they saved everything, like, is there a psychological imprint on us that we don't really know about? Like, are we always going to be, I guarantee you, anytime someone sniffles or coughs around you, you're always going to be like every time, you know, like going into Walmart and going the first few months of this thing, seeing people with masks on and all this. And now it's sort of like normalized. So I think the COVID generation has some kind of like psychological implications that are going to be with us and affect us, I think, for a long time. So yeah. I don't think it's ever going to normalize. I think the outdoor activities and water sports and tours and being outside and doing that sort of thing, I think we're experiencing the beginning of like a renaissance. You know, I'm imagining property values in rural areas are going up. Obviously, Florida is experiencing a home buying boom, more so than the rest of the country because people didn't want to get locked down. And they're like, oh man, Florida's like the great reprieve from COVID. You know, we didn't get any more sicker than anybody and we didn't do anything. No mask mandates, no nothing. And we stayed like right along the middle. So I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
One thing you said about all these people moving to Florida, I read that 300,000 people have moved to Florida since last year. Why in the hell can't we still find jobs for people? Why can't we still? I mean, meaning why can't we find employees? It's like, what the hell's going on? You know, I can't find anybody.
That sweet stimulus money, bro. Like, I again, you know, I hate to get conspiratorial, but I feel like that $15 an hour times 40 is $600 a week. That is a federal unemployment. That stimulus check. You know, is it $1,400 a month or whatever it is, you know. Now that doesn't really shuck and jive with the numbers. That would be like $350 a week, but still, like, you can't help but wonder, like, are we heading toward a concept of universal basic income? Is this, I mean, Andrew Yang talked about it. It's been posited before. The sharing economy is like nothing, you know, we've ever seen. I think we're just looking at an entirely new world. It was already happening before. I think COVID kind of sped that up. I don't know, man. The future is like a both bright and sort of scary place.
I agree. I think water sports, any outdoor destination in the next 5 years is going to be very busy. And it has a lot to do with COVID, I believe. Going to stick with people for several years. And they're going to want to be outside, socially distanced, away from people. I mean, we still see a huge increase in private trips, private rentals, private trips. It's been a really big theme in the past year. I think it's going to continue. As far as people getting back to work, well, when the economy gets to a point where they say that this unemployment needs to stop, I think that will get people back to work. But frankly, they're going to need something. We employ a lot of the folks that are on unemployment. Unfortunately, that age range and that level of employee, and not to speak disingenuous about folks in water sports, but we do hire a lot of guys that probably take advantage of the system. But so that might, but it's going to be at least until summer. I mean, they're going to continue doing this unemployment. I think, is it till September? I believe I haven't read the bill of how long it's going for.
I've been so busy. Every time I turn around, it's like, oh, another stimulus check or whatever, another PPP round. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I can't even get out of the line that I'm collecting money from my business to get into line for for the free money.
They want to do another stimulus, and where's
this all going to come from, man? Where is all this money going to come from?
Listen, like, I was all for the first stimulus. I was all for the PPP money, and frankly, the last stimulus, I was on the fence. But, you know, in our area, it's not as bad as other places. So I can't speak on the ones, and there's probably guys that are listening that are in like the Northeast where things are really locked down, or in California. So I'm not going to speak negatively to those folks that probably need it.
California is opening completely back up like April 19th, I think.
I thought it was in June.
April, they're opening right back up. I just saw something on the news about it today. I could be mistaken. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe so.
Well, the fact that they're opening up, whether it be April or June, is a great thing.
Gavin Newsom doesn't want to get, recalled.
Yeah, this is just we're going to see this a lot. And you, as a business owner, you're just going to have to realize like this is the new normal, it's going to be really busy.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It was June 15th.
June 15th. Okay. It's going to be really busy.
Disneyland opens April 30th. We couldn't have a show without talking about Disney. Yeah. Disney opens back up April 30th.
That's good news. So we're just going to have to realize, like, if they continue, Democrats are in office, they have the Senate, they have the House, and they're going to push more of these programs. So unfortunately, I think this employees issue is going to be at least until midterms.
Yeah, everybody else I was like, yeah, no more COVID. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I got the newest strain. No, I'm not. I'm COVID free. I got tested. I don't have COVID. I got tested yesterday, but golly, man, if this is anything what like COVID feels like, my God, man, I feel sorry for anybody that's got that. Holy crap. See what I do for you guys? Get out of bed and come do this damn show. For you guys to listen to me pontificate, which I'm probably wrong half the time about whatever I say, but it's still funny.
So, okay. So we got pricing, we have employees. These are the themes. I'm curious, do you think anything could happen to insurance premiums through COVID just with the increased usage of water sports and boating?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I do. And I know that they have.
They have.
Yeah. I had a little bit. I'm dealing with a little bit of an issue from our last insurance company because of that. They slipped some nice percentages up into there that I wasn't aware of, and now they're coming back and going, "Oh, hey!" So they send me that 90-page binder, and I'm like, "Oh, looks good, pretty much same as last year." And then they're like, "No, we raised your rates. You retroactively owe us this now." Come on, man, really? Yeah. So yeah, I do.
Did you bid out to other companies? Is it pretty much across the board, all increasing?
I went to the company that I was with was like volume based, meaning they go by what you make. And then I went back to my first insurance company, Lloyd's of London, Logan Insurance, and theirs hasn't gone up, not by much, but they're always like kind of putting you in different different underwriters. So. But no, I definitely think, yeah, man, for sure. With all the new rules, and I don't know, like there was a thing in Miami a couple weeks ago where Miami was under a state of emergency because of spring break and the fights and the shootings and all this stuff. And the bare bones charters were getting there are people doing bare bones charters, 50, 60 people. They were busting them, picking up at private marinas. I don't see how insurance rates can't go up. You have all these knuckleheads. I mean, even the group there's guys, you know what I mean? They're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm like, bro, you better get insurance first, my man. Slow down. Because everybody wants to get in on the train, get in on the gold rush, ye old gold rush.
Yeah. So, do you think it's a good time to get into water sports?
No. Don't come near my shit, asshole. Here's my problem with here's my biggest thing with people in water sports that don't have a clue is that they're the reason for the most part the rates go up, the dock fees go up. Everybody and their brother thinks, oh, I'm just gonna I like to feel that I have a pedigree in this game. You know what I mean? I spent a lot of time learning the industry. I worked my way up through the industry. I feel like I did things the right way. And then any, John, Dick, or Sally that comes in that's got a couple $1,000 that wants to buy a boat or a jet ski and starts renting it out and has zero clue, no idea about anything that happens, no captain's license, no understanding of rules of the road. It's just I like boating. So it's like the guy who opens up a restaurant, because he likes to eat. The only problem is that restaurant will weed them out, but the problem is our insurance company weed us all out when that idiot has a accident. So money wise, sure, great. Come on in, join the gold rush, get in on the boom. But the problem is, it's if you've never handled one boat and one ski, how are you going to come in and handle 5 boats and 5 skis? How are you going to go in and, oh my God, the worst is when they buy parasail boats and hire a captain off Craigslist or something. It's man, these are inherently dangerous sports. And I've heard through the woodwork, and it could be speculative and rumor, but I heard that some insurance companies are not taking on people that don't have experience in the industry. So if you have experience in this industry, yes. But if you're just a guy listening because you want to start a water sports company, do your due diligence at least. You know what I mean? I'm all in favor of the optimistic entrepreneur wanting to start his own business and against all odds and doing all that great stuff. But if you're going to go out and do dumb shit and get people hurt and hurt our customers, hurt yourself, hurt the industry, like just take a break, you know? So, I mean, I've always been like that. I think I urge some people, start your own business, get in the game, do it. Other people, I'm like, take it easy, man.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people in the Facebook group ask about opening a business up. And what I like about these guys is that they're listening, all of them. They're asking great questions.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, if you're looking to get in, and it's a great time to get in right now, if you're preparing yourself, because it's going to be busy. When you start your business, people want to be outside. They want to do outdoor activities. Just be prepared and be conscientious of your colleagues, because if you have a claim, or if you have incidents or a death, it's going to affect all your brothers and sisters in this. And that's what we have to be careful of. We do not want our premiums. Yeah.
Make friends. I told you, next show is going to be about mentorship. I've been wanting to talk about this, about mentorship, and I'm not going to do it now because I'm knocking on death's door. I need to go back to bed. But a little spoiler alert, I want to do an episode on mentorship. So those of you guys who are fresh in the game, who are interested in getting involved, got that lined up. You know, you got to have people. It's like when people ask me questions, I'm just like, start at episode 1, man. Do your homework, listen, go through the next 30 episodes and listen to everything we talk about, because this is like, this can either be the best decision in your life or the worst decision in your life. You know, you could literally like go under real fast, and it can be a heartbreaker because there's a lot of work, and this can be a very hard, difficult, stressful industry. You can ask anybody who's been in it for any length of time. But if you're smart and you're open to listening to what other people have to say, and you know, you can talk to people and get some good advice and do things the right way, then you know, you can crush it. You always want to think, you know, your business first, money second. Always never let money guide what you're going to do in this industry, because that could lead you to cutting a corner, which could cost your business down the line, or could put you in a lot of hot water with any number of regulatory industries that are involved, regulatory agencies that are involved in this industry. So yes, get involved. Yes, do it smart, and listen to us. We'll talk more about mentors. I think on the next show, I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah, it's done. Let's do it for the next show. Well, Kevin, I appreciate you coming on the show and making it through. I mean, I see you guys don't get to see this, but we see each other on video when we do the shows, and I'm looking at Kevin, and he is just, you can tell he's drained. I can tell he's just drained out. But
I look like shit.
There's one thing. We're really passionate about this show. Like we don't want to skip a beat. We want to make sure we're there every Thursday with new content. So we're gonna cut this short a little bit today. But is there anything else that we want to note for the Gold Rush episode?
No, man. The next water sport that I really want to get involved in is going to happen about 20 feet from my office here, which is my nearest bathroom. So let's get this shit wrapped up, huh?
You're silly. All right, guys. Well, hey, again, get on our Facebook group, comment, ask questions. We love to hear feedback on the show. What are you guys doing different during this busy time? Share ideas. That's what we're all here for. And as always, keep it awkward.
You've been listening to the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. If you're in the water sport industry, this is the podcast that brings the business perspective to parasailing, jet and ski boat rentals, sailing, snorkeling, and everything else. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Be sure to sign up to our email list at watersportpodcast.com and subscribe in your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time, and thanks for listening.